In the world of WWE, where the spotlight shines bright and characters are built like superheroes, there's a darker side not everyone sees. Beyond the ring, many famous wrestlers have been caught up in serious relationship scandals, especially those involving betrayal of their partners. Today, Wrestling Sphere takes you on a deep dive into the personal lives of those who once disappointed fans with their infamous affairs. This is a list of WWE wrestlers who were caught cheating on their significant others. Bray Wyatt, a mysterious man, both in and out of the ring. Bray Wyatt, best known for his haunting, otherworldly performances in WWE, from his Eater of Worlds persona to his peak as The Fiend, once captivated fans with his eerie brilliance. But behind the curtain was a turbulent personal life, marred by a cheating scandal that damaged his image in the eyes of many. Bray, whose real name was Wyndham Rotunda, had what seemed to be a picture-perfect marriage with Samantha Rotunda, his college sweetheart from Troy University. They met as students, fell in love while they were young, and started building a family together. While Samantha continued her education, Bray followed a path many expected of him, joining the wrestling world as a third-generation star from the legendary Rotunda family. Their love story was once seen as inspiring, but everything came crashing down in 2017. Samantha filed for divorce, accusing Bray of infidelity. The woman rumored to be involved? None other than WWE ring announcer JoJo Offerman. Bray denied the accusations at the time, but evidence released by Samantha's lawyer seemed to tell a different story. Rumors spread quickly among fans. Although Wyatt stayed silent, his actions spoke louder than words. Not long after the news broke, he was seen publicly with JoJo, even posting affectionate photos on Instagram, though comments were disabled to avoid backlash. This only fueled belief that Samantha's claims were true. But the divorce wasn't just about infidelity. Samantha was awarded custody of their two daughters, Kendall and Caden. However, the legal battle over child support was reportedly a rough one. A 2018 article claimed Bray failed to meet his financial obligations, all while spending lavishly on JoJo. Eventually, after court-ordered mediation, Bray agreed to pay nearly $15,000 per month in child support. Since then, Samantha quietly moved on with her life alongside her new boyfriend, Dan Pixley, a humble landscaper. Bray continued his relationship with JoJo, and the couple eventually had children of their own. While the drama faded from the headlines, many fans still look back at what once seemed like a fairy tale romance with sadness. Then, in August 2023, Bray Wyatt tragically passed away at just 36 years old, shocking the wrestling world. The old scandals seemed to fade away, replaced by a deep sense of loss for a talent gone too soon, a performer as enigmatic in the ring as he was complicated in real life. Matt Hardy, Lita, Edge, friendship, love, and bitter betrayal. If there were ever a textbook case of betrayal in WWE, the love triangle between Matt Hardy, Lita, and Edge would be front and center. This wasn't just a dramatic breakup, it was a double betrayal, where both a partner and a best friend turned their backs on someone who trusted them. Matt and Lita, real name Amy Dumas, were once seen as WWE's golden couple. They began dating around 1999, back when they were part of Team Extreme with Matt's younger brother, Jeff Hardy. Their chemistry on screen wasn't just for show, it reflected a real connection off-camera. Their love lasted for years, growing alongside their skyrocketing careers. Things started to unravel when Matt suffered a knee injury and had to take time off to recover. While he was away, Lita and Edge, then just close co-workers who often traveled together, started getting a little too close. Before anyone knew it, they were having an affair. What made the situation even worse was that Edge, whose real name is Adam Copeland, was married at the time to a woman named Lisa. So this wasn't just Lita cheating on Matt, it was a betrayal on both sides. The truth came out when Matt stumbled upon romantic messages between the two. Around the same time, Lisa also discovered what was happening and didn't hesitate to publicly call them out on social media. Her now iconic quote still echoes to this day. Amy and Adam had so many chances to tell me and Matt the truth. But they just kept lying. Like anyone would be, Matt was devastated and furious. He didn't hold back, expressing his pain openly online. But what shocked everyone was WWE's response. Instead of supporting him, they fired him, claiming his behavior was unprofessional. That's right, the one who got betrayed was the one who got punished. Fans immediately rallied behind Matt, launching a massive "Bring Back Matt Hardy" campaign. Chants of "You Screwed Hardy" erupted at WWE shows, targeting both Edge and Lita. The public pressure became so intense that WWE had no choice but to bring Matt back. He made his return by ambushing Edge backstage, a moment so raw and emotional, fans couldn't tell if it was scripted or real. Vince McMahon saw an opportunity and turned the scandal into an official storyline. WWE staged a kayfabe wedding between Edge and Lita, followed by a series of revenge matches. But in reality, there was no redemption for Matt. He lost all 3 of his matches against Edge. The performances felt awkward, the emotions too genuine. It became painfully clear, this wasn't just a storyline, it was a real-life tragedy unfolding on live TV. Eventually, all 3 moved on. Lita left WWE in 2006. Matt went on to marry Reby Sky, and Edge tied the knot with fellow WWE star Beth Phoenix. But to this day, fans still remember this as one of the most intense, heartbreaking, and unforgettable love scandals in WWE history. Hulk Hogan, when brother turns into backstabber. If you thought the Matt Hardy-Lita-Edge love triangle was peak drama, buckle up, because Hulk Hogan's cheating scandal might just be one of the most bizarre sagas in WWE history. We're talking leaked sex tapes, broken friendships, and years of legal battles. Yes, Hogan's real-life soap opera had it all. It all started in 2012, when a sex tape surfaced online showing Hulk Hogan in bed with Heather Clem, and here's the kicker, she was the wife of Hogan's best friend, popular radio DJ Bubba, the Love Sponge. The internet exploded with a single question. Why would a wrestling legend betray his closest friend like that? But that was just the beginning. The strangest part? Bubba knew all about it. In the tape, you can clearly hear him saying, "You guys have fun. I'll be in my office." That's right, he gave them permission. He even filmed his own wife and best friend together in his bedroom. And if that wasn't wild enough, Bubba drops another line that sent up serious red flags. "If I ever want to retire, this is my ticket." That one sentence led many to believe the whole thing was a setup, a blackmail scheme waiting to happen, with Bubba planning to use the tape against Hogan if needed. Eventually, the footage was leaked through a US-based blog. Hogan wasted no time filing a lawsuit for invasion of privacy and defamation. The result? He was awarded £25 million, around $30 million US, in damages, a huge win legally, but the damage to his public image was undeniable. By then, Hogan had already divorced his wife, Linda Hogan, but she wasn't surprised by the news. In fact, Linda claimed she'd suspected the affair long before their split. In her words, "There were times he couldn't even look me in the eye. I'm sure he thought I was too busy to catch all the lies." As for Bubba, he denied leaking the footage and insisted Hogan always knew there were cameras in the bedroom. Hogan, on the other hand, said he never consented to being recorded and countersued. The case ended with a quiet settlement. Hogan reportedly paid Bubba just $5,000 in 2012 to put the matter to rest. From that point on, their friendship was officially over. Hogan tweeted bluntly, "Just to be clear, Bubba and I are not friends and never will be." Though the scandal eventually faded from the headlines, Hogan moved on with his life. In 2023, he remarried, this time to Sky Daily, after dating for a while and finding a new connection. And if there were ever a trophy for bouncing back from a cheating scandal, Hulk Hogan would be one of the top contenders. Mickie James, an affair with the man no one can see, but everyone saw coming. When it comes to WWE cheating scandals that shocked the fanbase, Mickie James is a name that can't be left out. Her affair wasn't just controversial, it was tangled, high-profile, and involved none other than the face of the company at the time, John Cena. And the ironic twist: while Cena was known as the man you can't see, their secret romance was something everyone ended up seeing. Back in 2008, WWE was in full swing promoting John Cena as its poster boy, a wholesome, heroic figure who always stood for what was right. At the same time, Mickie James was one of the top women in the company, holding the WWE Women's Championship and commanding the spotlight. With both stars on the rise, WWE paired them as an on-screen, kayfabe couple. But fiction quickly turned into reality. Mickie and Cena developed genuine feelings off-screen, and what started as a scripted romance soon became a real-life secret affair. The problem, and the start of the drama, was that neither of them was single at the time. John Cena was still trying to reconcile with his high school sweetheart, Elizabeth Huberdeau, whom he would later marry. Mickie James, meanwhile, was publicly engaged to fellow WWE wrestler Kenny Dykstra. Kenny found out in the most painful way possible. One day, he saw Mickie Googling the phrase, "Mickie James and John Cena dating." Suspicious, he asked her why, and she broke down crying on the spot. Soon after, he began hearing whispers around the locker room, and eventually, the rumors were confirmed. He ended the engagement, and by the end of the year, Kenny was also released from WWE, a brutal double blow. As for Mickie, she may have believed the relationship with Cena would boost her career. But reality hit hard. Cena ended the affair, returned to Elizabeth, and went public with their engagement soon after. Mickie, on the other hand, lost her fiancé, her lover, and soon, her top position on WWE's flagship show. She was moved to SmackDown, which seemed like a fresh start, but was actually the beginning of a downhill spiral. WWE placed her in a humiliating storyline called Piggy James, where she was mocked by fellow wrestlers for her appearance. The angle not only hurt her personally but also led to a string of losses, further damaging her credibility. By 2010, after backstage friction and diminishing momentum, WWE released Mickie James. It was a painful fall for someone who had once been at the top. Although WWE brought her back in 2013, she never quite reclaimed her former status. In many ways, Mickie ended up the biggest casualty of the scandal. Today, she's no longer with WWE and lives a more stable life with her husband, Nick Aldis, a former wrestler and former SmackDown general manager. While she seems to have found peace, for many fans, the 2008 affair remains one of the most bitter chapters of her career. The Undertaker. One of the most iconic figures in WWE history, The Undertaker didn't just strike fear into audiences with his dead man persona. He also surprised many with a turbulent personal life behind the curtain. For over 3 decades, Mark Calloway, The Undertaker's real name, was seen as a loyal, devoted figure who lived and breathed wrestling. But that loyalty seemed to stay in the ring, as his marriage told a different story. At the center of his first public love story was Sarah Frank, his former wife, whom he once loved so deeply that he had her name tattooed on his neck. The moment The Undertaker proudly showed off the Sarah tattoo in front of millions was once considered one of WWE's most romantic gestures. Fans saw it as a permanent mark of unwavering love, a symbol that couldn't be erased. But as it turns out, even ink on skin can fade, just like forgotten promises. In the mid-2000s, rumors began to swirl about an affair between The Undertaker and former WWE Women's Champion Michelle McCool. The two were increasingly spotted together, backstage and at public events. While they didn't immediately confirm the relationship, the media was convinced the dead man was cheating on his wife. Not long after, cracks began to show in his marriage to Sarah. Despite having 2 children together, the damage was too deep. Sarah ultimately filed for divorce, and by 2007, the marriage had ended. Shortly after, the Sarah tattoo mysteriously disappeared, replaced by a pair of wings. A symbol of new beginnings, yes, but also a quiet acknowledgement of a past he wanted to leave behind. What followed only fueled the speculation. Undertaker went public with Michelle McCool and eventually married her, further convincing fans that the cheating rumors weren't baseless. Still, to be fair, Sarah moved on as well and later found happiness with her new husband, actor Jason Schunitt. The story of The Undertaker is a reminder that no matter how legendary your public image may be, mistakes in your personal life can leave scars that even a mythic persona can't fully cover. Sunny. If you've been following our channel, you're no stranger to the name Sunny, one of WWE's original divas, and easily one of the most controversial figures professional wrestling has ever known. From a blazing start to a personal life riddled with scandals, trouble seemed to follow her every step. And it all began with what seemed like a picture-perfect romance. Tammy Lynn Sytch, Sunny's real name, met Chris Candido when they were both teenagers. Their relationship was so serious and genuine that Sunny gave up her dream of becoming a doctor just to support Chris's wrestling career. It was a huge sacrifice, reflecting the deep trust and devotion she had for her high school sweetheart. The two entered WWE together in 1995, right during the peak of the Attitude Era. But just a year later, Chris left the company while Sunny stayed. The distance, the chaotic schedules, and the glitzy world of WWE slowly pulled Sunny's heart in another direction. That direction had a name: Shawn Michaels, one of the biggest stars of that era. At first, it seemed like an innocent act of kindness. After Shawn was injured in a bar fight, Sonny stepped in to care for him, frequently checking in on his recovery. But what started as friendly visits quickly turned into something more. The two grew closer than just friends. All the while, Chris Candido had no idea what was happening behind his back. Sonny and Shawn even vacationed together in Jamaica, publicly, with no attempt to hide it. When intimate photos of the trip leaked, the wrestling world was stunned. Many backstage believed her actions showed a deep lack of respect for Chris, who at the time still considered Sonny the love of his life. When criticism rolled in, Sonny claimed that she and Chris were on a break during that time. But Chris's brother, Johnny Candido, disputed that. According to Johnny, Chris was still very much in love with her, and the whole love triangle left him heartbroken. Not long after, Sonny and Shawn's relationship also fell apart. Shawn wanted to take the next step and asked Sonny to move in with him, but she declined. Ironically, her reason was that she didn't want to hurt Chris. The real tragedy came in 2005, when Chris Candido suddenly passed away due to complications after surgery. As for Sonny, she spiraled, jumping between short-lived relationships with other wrestlers, getting tangled in legal issues, and eventually being convicted of involuntary manslaughter. What began as a seemingly beautiful love story ended in heartbreak, betrayal, and tragedy. If WWE is known for its dramatic storylines, then Sonny's real life is a tragedy that far exceeded anything scripted in the ring. Vince McMahon. Closing today's list is a name that likely surprises no one. Vince McMahon, the most powerful figure in professional wrestling, and also one of its most scandal-ridden personalities outside the ring. Vince and Linda McMahon were once seen as a power couple, the driving force behind WWE's decades of success. But behind that polished image was a fractured marriage, marred by countless affairs, most of which centered around Vince himself. The story began many years ago, and there's never been any real sign he intended to stop. In a shocking 2001 interview, Vince openly admitted to cheating on his wife. What's more, he tried to justify it by saying he still loved Linda and continued to provide for her emotionally and financially, as if that somehow lessened the betrayal. His cold and detached tone left many people stunned. From there, the rumors only escalated. Over time, more and more names were linked to Vince: Candice Michelle, Tori Wilson, Sable, and most famously, Trish Stratus. One of the most controversial moments came during a WWE segment, where Vince passionately kissed Trish on live TV, right in front of his wife, who was playing a paralyzed woman in a wheelchair. While it was part of the storyline, fans couldn't ignore how disturbingly close it mirrored reality. Behind the scenes, Vince was rumored to have had numerous affairs with WWE female staff, allegedly using his position to manipulate relationships or cover up the truth. These weren't just whispers for long, because in recent years, Vince has faced serious allegations of sexual misconduct. According to documents from civil lawsuits, Vince was accused of using his influence to coerce or exploit several women within the company. Some reports claim he paid over $12 million in hush money to silence victims through strict non-disclosure agreements. The story of Vince McMahon goes far beyond infidelity. It's a saga of scandal, cover-ups, unchecked power, and manipulation. And among all his personal failings, betrayal might just be the most visible part of a much darker whole. Romantic scandals may eventually fade, but the stain of betrayal leaves a lasting mark on a career. Follow Wrestling Sphere so you don't miss the most shocking hidden truths in the world of wrestling.